Hello everyone, it's Valerie from Stampin' with Valerie, and today we're going to talk about pockets. You know, pockets for journals or pockets to put in a scrapbook page or even on the front of a card. So this is a little journal that I have that I thought I would use just to adhere these pockets in today. Now I'm not going to do every page by any means, and these are not the only type of pockets you can make, but these are just some that I've learned how to make and I thought I would show you. So I'm just going to set the journal off to the left, and I think we'll get started with a super easy pocket first. Now this pocket is from an old envelope. What I did was I tea-dyed an old envelope, and then I cut the envelope off and I went ahead and just sewed around the edges. So obviously this one I'm not going to show you how to sew that. But you can use other forms of adhering. You could use some double-sided tape or glue just to seal the edges as well. And so we're just going to take that pocket and maybe we'll put a couple little stamps on it today. And I'm going to use maybe this little floral one. And there's this little bird. I love this little bird. And these are from a stamp set called Day to Day by Maggie Holmes. So let's just grab a couple little blocks. I'm just going to use Memento ink because I would probably end up coloring these in later with some alcohol markers or something. And I'm going to, I think, adhere this into my album this way because otherwise my pocket is going to stick out because this album is kind of small. It's like about 4 3/8 wide, but 8 3/8 tall. So it's a little bit of an odd size. But look at that bird. How cute is that? It's like perfect on there. So we've got the little bird. We're going to do this little floral stamp maybe over on the corner. And I think for now, that's all I'm going to stamp on that. You can always stamp something on it later. Now this is like an old bingo card. This is like about 4 by 4. So you can see what size this is where you could put something in there. So to adhere it down, I am going to use some double-sided tape because with the stitching on here, this double-sided tape seems to work really well with anything that you've put stitches on. Now I use my regular sewing machine for this. I don't buy a special machine, but you can. But just be aware, if you are using your sewing machine that you've used for fabric or that type of thing, you need to make sure that you clean out the little trap that's underneath your needle where your needle goes in and out, because you'll get little pieces of paper in there, little fine pieces, and that way you can, it keeps your machine going good. I mean, I'm not a sewing machine expert by any means, but you don't want to get that clogged up with paper and then try to use your sewing machine to sew like the hem on a pair of pants or something and end up not being able to do it, because that would really stink, don't you think? So I'm going to go open this up and not do the first page, but I'm going to do the second page because maybe I'll come back to this album at some point and we will add some other things into it. But for right now, I'm just going to put all my little pockets in it that we're going to be showing today and making today. And I'm just going to stick this back in there just so you can see. I probably should have put some adhesive across the top of this right here. But for now, I'm going to leave it and I'll go back and put some adhesive on that later. I don't know why I didn't put that on there. But the fun thing about having it like that is it does make it a double pocket. So let's just do that. It's a double pocket. So you got one pocket right in the back behind that. And then you got your pocket in the front where you can see through all that nice little clear plastic or whatever you want to call it that comes on all those bills you get in the mail, basically. All right, so that's the first one. Super easy, super easy. And I will just show you a couple other little envelope ones that I've done. I'm not going to stick them in this album right now, but look at this envelope was so perfect. It had this nice little clear, and then I just used a piece of scrapbook paper on the back to get those nice little yellow stripes. This one, this is what the actual envelope had on the inside, and you can see that fits a tag perfectly. This is a very old envelope that I cut apart, and I made a little pocket with that. And then this fantastic envelope was just a larger envelope that had those nice blue stripes on it. So you do all kinds of different things with your envelopes. Don't throw everything away, you know. When you've got junk, keep it. That's what we do, right? We try to use our junk for everything. All right, so my second little envelope, I am going to use some scrapbook paper and a small paper bag. And we're gonna make this little pocket here that just opens up, and you have a little piece of scrapbook paper on the inside. How cute is that? This bag that I used was a little bit smaller than the one I'm gonna use today, but it just gives you an example of what it looks like. So take your little paper bag, grab my trimmer, and you've got this part, you know, that folds, you know, when you open your bag up, it opens up here. So cut just a little bit above that area. You don't have to be precise. You don't have to do like an inch or a half an inch or whatever. You do whatever you want. And then you've got this little area that folds open. Then measure what the size of this is, because you're going to want to put a piece of scrapbook paper on the inside. So let me grab my ruler. We'll give that a quick measure. I didn't measure it ahead of time. It is 3.5 by 2. So I'm going to cut my piece of scrapbook paper just a little bit smaller. And now this is kind of a thick scrapbook paper, so you can use any thickness that you want, but I just kind of wanted to go with a little bit thicker. So I want it to be 2 inches or just under 2 inches so I can fit it in there easier. Just under 2 inches and just under 3.5 inches. That's going to go on the inside of that little pocket. And then I want to put a piece right here. So it's going to be just under 3.5 inches, but let's see how wide that is from here to here. And of course I threw my ruler way over there. So just under 2.5 inches. So I'm going to go just under 2.5. And then it'll be 3.5. And we'll do just a little bit, just like a hair under, just to, we'll put our little scraps over here. So the first piece I'm going to put in is I will put the piece in the bottom of our little bag. Make sure it fits first, and it should fit perfectly. It does. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of that. Doesn't have to be perfect, just enough to keep it in there, because this little thing, you can add some little tags in there. You can add some little journal notes. Anything you want to just kind of put in here, you can put in here. And then this is how it's going to look in the album. So you want to put your piece of scrap paper on this side. And again, just throw some glue on there or some double-sided adhesive, whatever you want to use. For this project, I just think the glue is easy. Make sure it's adhered down really well. And now I'm going to use my punch, because as you can see, I punched a little nodule here. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. And I'll just use a little 1-inch punch. That should be plenty big. Now, of course, there's that little bit of glue, so you might have a little bit of stickiness on your punch afterwards, but as you can see, it kind of dried quick, so that didn't stick it shut or anything. And then you've got this little extra piece. If you want to use it for something, you can, but you don't have to. But I am going to take one of these little scraps, and I'm going to cut it in half, I think. And then we'll take a piece of twine. Let's use this really pretty yellow twine here. So I think that's kind of perfect. We'll grab a stapler. I'm just going to use a stapler, easy peasy. I'm going to put a little loop on here, I think. And I'm going to staple it onto this inside here. So this can be, I'm going to try to staple it. Let's put it that way. Let me use a little piece that we took off. I got glue on my fingers and now that twine just wants to stick to me. I'm going to use this little piece of paper. I'm going to stick, as it keeps sticking to my finger, a small piece of the double-sided adhesive to this so we can stick that twine right to it. That'll be perfect. Get that adhesive backing off. And then we're still going to use the stapler on it as well, just to make sure it adheres really well. But it'll be easier if it sticks on its own. Just going to stick it right on that inside right there. And then I'm going to staple it so the hopefully I'm going to put 3 in there because I went a little low on that. Now you got 3 little staple pieces on the front. That's not a big deal. We can cover that up later with something. But for now, let's skip a couple of pages and let's put this, there we go. Let's just skip 2 pages. And I'm going to actually put it on this side, I think. We're just going to adhere that down. Definitely use something that you know is going to stay. And because I want to open this right away and show you how it opens, nice and easy, I'm going to use the double-sided adhesive just to make sure it's stuck down. Glue is perfect as well, but since I want to open this up, if I tried to open it, I might just pull it right off the page because the glue, I would have to use quite a bit of glue. I will still put some glue in the center though, because I don't want to fill that up with double-sided adhesive, but that'll just give it extra to hold it down. Let's get this backing off, if it'll come off. There we go. And now this little pocket was taught to me. I went to a class that a friend of mine was hosting, and she taught me how to make this. And I know, then I looked it up, and I've seen many other videos with this little pocket, and I just thought it was really cute. And I thought, you know, let's teach this. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to put this at the bottom. And I'm going to take that other little piece of scrap that I cut off, and I'm going to fold it in half. Now you don't have to do this, but I just kind of wanted a little tab on here. And I'm not going to staple through the twine this time. I'm just going to staple it so there's a little, you got this little tab. There we go. I just wanted to pull it so it's kind of straight. And then you just pull it up and you got your cute little pocket. How adorable is that? And super easy. I know going through it takes a little time, but super easy to do. And you can, like I said, put little treasures in there, whatever you want. This little spot here, I would cover up like with a little punched out heart or something. But I'm not going to do that today. I'll just tell you that's something you can do to cover up those little staples. All right, let's go to another pocket. Let's see, get all these out of the way. If you could see my desk right now, you would be like, I don't even know how this woman is functioning, because I have so many things on my desk right now. It's a little bit crazy. The next one I want to do is this cute little cone pocket. How adorable is that? Super easy to do. You just need, you can use a square piece of paper if you want to. It's a little harder. but I like to use like a book page or something that is a rectangle shape because that seems to work the best, I think. Got ink over here. I need to move that back so I don't stick everything in it. So basically all you want to do with this, it doesn't really matter which side you use unless there's a certain word that you want to show, because the word that's going to show is going to be either on the inside here or right here on the edge, like where this says claustrophobia. Now I would cover that up and I'll show you how to do that in just a second, but we'll just leave egg for the inside. So we're going to just fold our paper, twist it around. Just twist it around however many times you want to twist it around till you get it nice and tight at the bottom. And you can see how egg shows up there in the background. Now, if this isn't super tight at the bottom, it's not a huge deal, but try to get it as tight as you can. And once you've gotten it tight, just set it down however tight you want to get it, and just use your bone folder and just go ahead and do that. Now this little piece I don't need sticking out, so I'm just going to fold that back. Now you could fold this forward if you want to, just for some extra design or something on your cute little cone, but I'm just going to fold it to the back of my cone. And now this isn't as perfect as this one, but it's kind of nice if they're all a little bit different. Just put some adhesive on the back here because these are it's just going to fold up and hold it, and then that's not going to be seen because you're going to be adhering this side down to your album, wherever you want to put it on your album. I'm just going to set this one aside because we're working with this new one that we just made. Go ahead and go over it again with your bone folder, especially this little crease at the bottom because you got a couple layers of paper there and you want it to stay. Now the beautiful thing about this is you have a pocket on the front, you have a pocket here, and you don't have to use both of them. And if you really want, like I said, I'm just showing that word egg, but you don't have to show it. But you can take, and I was going to show you this where claustrophobia is. You want to just cover that up. Just put a piece of washi tape over it. Super easy. Just cut it, fold it over the back of your little piece. And how cute is that? It just adds something to the front of your cone. Now, I don't want to get rid of this pocket here, but since this is all blank right here, let's just go ahead and put a piece of washi across that. And we'll cut it so we can fold it over the back. That's before we even stick it into our album. Super easy, right? You don't even have to really think about this one too much. It's just super easy to do. And I'm just going to use my tape runner to hold this one down. So I'm just going to go all the way across this top little piece to make sure you get that down. And then down this side. And then of course across the bottom as well. And then if you want, you can take, if your tape runner will work, just go up the center as well. So we're just going to skip one page with this one, and we will throw this pocket, and I'm going to leave the top of that pocket sticking out because I think that kind of looks cute with albums when you got little pieces that are sticking out. You could stamp something on this, you could just add something to it, or you could put a piece of paper on this side, stick to it, but since we already have adhesive on that, let's fold it over and use it kind of for our next page. I forgot I had adhesive all the way to the top of that when I decided to stick it over. So again, learn from my mistakes. And how cute is that? Of course, this tag isn't, that's a pretty long pocket because this tag is 6 inches long. So it's pretty long. So that's perfect, right? How fun is that? I love that. I love everything you can do with this little cone pocket. All right, the next one, super duper easy. Grab an envelope. This little envelope is about 5 inches by 3.5. So it's like a little note card envelope. And what you're going to do is just cut a little bit off this flap. So you're probably going to have just over 1/4 of an inch. Maybe cut it like right here where it starts to point up. That little section there, cut right there. That's the perfect amount that you want left. So just cut that off, and you can save that and use that later. I'm going to show you in a minute how we can use that. Grab some double-sided adhesive and put it on this piece. That's where you want your double-sided adhesive, is right there on that piece. Again, glue works just fine too. But for this purpose, we'll use double-sided adhesive today. Make sure you don't have any little scragglies hanging off from it, because you'll just have adhesive stuck in your album. Skip a couple of pages, and we are going to put it on the left side. I'm going to line this up with this edge of the paper. And stick that down. And then what you want to do here on the edge, you can leave it just like this if you want to. You can put a piece of paper to cover over it and give you something else right here on your page, which is probably what I will do later. But look at that, you have this cute little pocket now, because when you just open your page, you're going to end up with this. You can stamp on this, add cardstock to the front of it, washi tape, whatever you want. But now you have this cute little pocket that flips open, and whatever's going to fit in there needs to be cut to size of your envelope. You don't want your stuff folding, or maybe you do, I don't know. I don't, but there you go. You got that cute little pocket from an envelope that will just flip open when you get to that page. How adorable is that? I love it. And then on this, take this piece. You're going to make a cute little corner pocket over here if you want to. Now, it's not going to fit exactly in the corner just because the shape of the envelope. But it's still going to be adorable. And I will use double-sided tape for this as well. Go as close to that edge as you can. You can always trim it off and round that corner. And now this isn't going to be for holding, obviously, large items, because this was a smaller envelope. I'm going to kind of go over the edges with this piece. And then I'm just going to trim it down on those edges. So you've got adhesive all the way to the edges. Trim this one, just kind of round it. Perfect. Now I got to get that off my fingers so it can go in the garbage. Take your backings off. And as you can see, they're still stuck to my fingers over here. No big deal. And again, this is another piece you can stamp on it. I'm just going to line it up the best I can so these edges don't go over. But then you've got that cute little pocket. Something can slide right in there. Isn't that cute? And then you've used both pieces of your envelope. So perfect, right? Skip a page or two. Let's see what we've got. Super easy, tiny little bags. These are adorable. Again, stamp on them, do whatever you want with them. If you want to make this a double pocket, just put adhesive down the sides and the bottom, which is what I'm going to do with this. I'm just going to use my runner adhesive. Now this, obviously, you're gonna have to have skinnier things to fit in this. I'm gonna put it toward the top, and it kind of, I probably should have used the other one so you can see it better. But let's see, I'm not sure if this tag is a little bit too wide. Let me grab something else to see if it will fit in there. I got this piece of notebook paper. Just about fits in there. We'll grab a super skinny piece of notebook paper. So you can just shove your little pieces down in, and you've got 2 pockets out of that tiny little bag. I love when you can add more than 1 pocket with one simple piece of something. It, you know, whatever you use. Maybe this tag will fit. Let's see. Oh, almost. Not quite. But then your little tag, again, if you have a longer one, can stick out the top of your album. Super cute. All right, let's take a piece of cardstock. Now this one's got this nice little floral print on it. And the easiest thing, this is like one of the easiest pockets again. I know this is 4 3/8 inches wide, so I'm gonna make my pocket just like, let's go 3 3/4. We don't want to go too big. And then at the top of that pocket, grab one of your circle punches. This is a 1 1/4, I believe. Let me check just to make sure. Yeah, 1 1/4. So that's what it looks like on like a 4-inch wide tag. Save your little piece if you want to use it for something else. Obviously save this if you want to use it for something else. And again, super easy. Just go down the side and the bottom of that with your double-sided adhesive or your tape runner. I really do like to use the double-sided adhesive a lot in my albums, just because I feel like it holds really well. But like I just showed you, it's okay to use the tape runner as well, as long as you've got a strong tape in your tape runner. And I said this was 4 inches wide, but it's only 3 3/4, so I apologize for that. 3 3/4 inch wide with that 1 1/4 circle punch punched out. This is just going to be obviously a single pocket, but super easy to do. So you don't always have to get complicated. We'll put it at the bottom of this page. And then again, I'll just demonstrate. You can throw that a tag or whatever you want in that little pocket. Adorable. All right, now let's get into a couple of folded tags that I was messing around with earlier. And I just used a piece of notebook paper that I got out of this fantastic little notebook that I found that had a bunch of pages missing out of the front of it. And you can see they're all numbered, which I thought was great. And so let's use a piece of that. Let's see what number we got on this one. This one is number 45. This paper is 7 3/4 by about 10 inches. And the first thing I'm going to do with this, make sure I get this the way I wanted to do it. You can see how that still folds up. We're just going to fold it in half. I'm going to start by folding it in half. And go ahead and use your bone folder on it. And then we're going to fold it up. We're going to fold it up with the number at the bottom. Sorry. We're going to fold it up with that number at the bottom, but we're going to fold it a little bit higher. So I'm trying to remember how I did this now, everybody. Oh, I folded it the wrong way. Let's fold it this way. Fold it this way. And then we're gonna flip it over, and my number, let's see. Oh my goodness, everyone. Now I'm like second guessing how I made this pocket, because I want my number to fold down first. There we go. All right. So fold it so you have a little bit extra at the top there. Then fold it in half down the middle. Fold this pocket forward. Fold that down. Okay. So we're starting folding like this, so you have a little bit at the top. Fold that first piece down. Fold your second piece down. And it's going to go, I'm going to go all the way to the edge with that one. So you can see. So I've got 2 folds. But I want this one stuck down a little bit so it stays. I don't want it to come up when we put something in that pocket. So I'm going to just put some adhesive on that little piece. Hopefully I'm not making this too confusing for you. So we got our half with that little extra at the top. Fold this piece down. Fold this one down all the way to your seam right there, that where we folded it. And then our third one, we are not going to fold all the way. We're just going to fold it a little bit in. Because we want to be able to see. I'm going to try to line my lines up a little bit there. Let's see. There we go. And now that piece is on the back. I know that sounds crazy, just the way I'm doing this. I'll go back through it in just a second. So we've got all these fun little folds, and now we have this little spot here. You can take this piece, if you want to adhere this down, you can, but I think this would be great for journaling on, and then you could fold it down and hide your journaling if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. We're just going to take this piece on the back. Just this part right here is the only part that's going to get the adhesive to stick to your album, but you want to close this pocket off, I think. Or actually, you might not. You could always put things in this pocket this way, or you could stick them up this way. It's up to you, but if you don't want everything falling out of your pocket and you want them sticking up, which is what I'm going to do with this one, we're going to put some adhesive on those. I'm just going to use a little bit of glue because we've got 3 little pockets here. Kind of flip it over so you can see where you want to put that. Glue that little spot down. Now you've got this one. You want to glue this here and at the bottom. Obviously the other 2 you don't have to glue at the bottom, only because they are the folded part of the paper. So now we've got those 2 stuck down, and then you've just got this little bit right here to stick down. And so now everything is stuck down, and you've got your cute little pocket that will hold 1, 2, 3, 4 things, depending on how you adhere it down. But I'm going to adhere it both sides, not the top, sorry, this side, the bottom, and this side. So then I've got that pocket in behind it, and I'll demonstrate that in just a second once I get it in the album. Super easy to do. I'm hoping this is teaching you just a couple little new things. And like I say, that little pocket was one that I just played with. And so for a second there, I was like, how did I fold this? I should have left an example of how I folded it to begin with. Now I'm only going to go to the top of this little rectangle piece. I don't want to go all the way. Actually, I will go all the way up so that stays stuck down as well on the album. And it's not going to make that huge of a difference in the size of that pocket on the back. Got a little bit of adhesive right there I need to get off. But once I get that off, it's no big deal. Okay, so let's get this stuck in our album. Get all those little goodies off there. I have a whole pile of these sitting on the desk, so these ones I need to just immediately throw into the bin, which is what I should have been doing all along, right? But let's skip a couple of pages again. We'll put this one on this side. We'll put it toward the bottom as well. And then you've got that cute little pocket there. You can stick whatever you want in there. You can put a tag in the back. I've just got all these extra tags I'll just shove in there just so you can see how many different little pockets you've got. You can always stamp on this before you put them together and put them in the albums, but that's just a cute little, like I say, you can flip that up. Adorable, right? Let's see, how many more pockets do we want to make? Let me go with, let's go with this one. This one is out of a dictionary page. Kind of the same thing that we made our, and it's another little foldy one. So let's see if I remember what I did, right? That one kind of folds inside. Take our little dictionary page. We are going to fold it up, but not quite all the way to the top. You want a little bit of an edge. Then we're going to fold it in half. Again, fold it this way. Let me make sure I've got it right before I go ahead and use my bone folder on it. So you've got your page long ways, fold it in half, leave a little bit, well, I say in half, but leave a little space at the top because this gives you that extra pocket and you're able to see where that extra pocket starts. And then go ahead and adhere this down. I will go ahead and use some double-sided adhesive, and just kind of cut it on an angle at that edge there since you're going to be folding that page back. I think I just used glue on this earlier, but I don't want it to come apart while we're making it, so I'll use the double-sided adhesive. Just fold it over. And now you can see how I've got that piece of paper there on this side. I'm not going to do an entire piece this time. I've actually cut a piece to fit on there. That will just fit like this after that is folded down. Or it should fit anyway. So just fold it from that corner. Fold up your little triangle. And what I did was I cut a piece of paper that was just a little bit undersized from this. So measure whatever, you'll have to measure whatever your paper is. And then you can add this. And this is just a little, I thought would be another good little journaling spot once you add that in. And since that's not going to be moved, glue was the perfect thing to use for the video for that. And same will go for this piece. I'm just going to add it right here. And let's do it this way because then our lines are going the same way on our paper. And now if you want to, and I did this for this one, I showed all the little edges I went around the little edges with some ink and a sponge dauber, and I used spiced marmalade. It's a Tim Holtz ink. And you can use whatever colors you want to use. So now for this next little piece, because we've got the back, and then we have these two edges here. This one I folded back. Now, you could do it either way. You could fold it forward, or you can fold it back to kind of, but either way, you're going to have to adhere it down. So I'm going to fold it back, and then I'll show you quickly how to adhere it. And you can see how I've just kind of rolled it under there, and then figure out how far you want to go with it. Just give it a good crease again. And then since you know you want to adhere that down, just fold this back. Just put a little bit of glue. You don't have to put a thick coat of glue on it, just enough to hold it down. And then just fold it back over. And now it will stay down and you don't have to worry about it. Now, if you want to, you could do the same with this one and fold a little corner in, but I left it straight across. And all I did for these edges is I just went down that with the glue, hold those edges down. And there you've got that cute little pocket that again is going to hold several different things. You've got here, 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 and you can put them in any way you want to put them in. It really doesn't matter because this one, I'm not going to put in the album this way. I'm going to put it, actually, on this side so you can have things coming out over here on this edge. So you could just put something in and it'll stick out the side of your album if you want. So I will use the double-sided adhesive for the back of that, but I'm going to use this one that I've already done the edging on. So I'm just going to set that one aside that we just made, and we'll just do this one. And now you can leave this back open if you want to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to close that all in because this paper is a little bit thinner and I want to make sure that it stays in the album really well and doesn't get ripped on that edge, because even when I was going across it with the sponge dauber, it was kind of hard to sponge daub because it was so thin. It was hard to hold it in place. But this is just a super cute little pocket. And I think I'm just going to keep this little album of mine and use it for examples for myself. But also I will eventually decorate it too and probably make it a little bit fancier than it is right now. Go ahead and get all your little backings off. So I hope everybody's having a good day today. I'm having a great day. I apologize. It's been a couple weeks since I've had a video. It's just been super busy, you know, life happens, and I try not to keep my videos on too much of a schedule only because that puts a lot of pressure on me to make sure I get everything done, and it just isn't always going to happen. All right, we'll kind of put this in the middle of our page and just go gently down, and they're cute. How cute is that? Love that. And again, anything you want to cover up, any words, use some stamps, use a washi tape, or use like these little, like how cute is that? I can just use that little piece right there and cover up the word chilblain. Just that little piece that I punched out earlier. And it just covers it up. And then you've got something cute on that page. All right, let's do at least one more pocket before we go. I'm going to use a cute little bag. Let me see what kind of bag I want to use. This little bag. And it's kind of a little bit ripped there on the corner. So let's do this. Let's take the corners of that and just cut them off. And then we got that. Now they're even. Again, another super easy way to make a pocket. I'm going to adhere this down at the top too, because trying to get things in and out when it's very thin and it has, you know, that little edging on it is not always easy. But we're going to make this a double pocket just by folding this bag up. Now you could put it in your album just like this and just have your pocket like that. But if you fold it up like this, it just gives it a little something extra. We'll put a little bit of glue on there. We'll fold it up. Cute. Now, since I'm kind of going with a lot of little floral themes here, let's use this floral washi tape and kind of go across the front right here. And we'll just fold it over the back of our cute little bag. That right away just gives it something decorative. You could add some ribbon to the front of it and do that as well. But today we'll just use some washi tape. I'm just going to use, actually I'm not going to use tape runner on this. I will just use my double-sided adhesive. And then of course you got to go around all these little spots. Get those little corners on there first. Get those done. And then if you just take those backings off right away, when you come up on the edges, or on the sides here with your double-sided adhesive, you can just go right over those little spots. Let me move the book out of the way. It's kind of getting in my way. And then you don't have to cut your tape at an angle. You've already got it. It'll just go over the edge of that. Go ahead and get your top piece down. Make sure you leave, if you've got a bag like this and it has all those little zigzag, jagged marks where they cut it, just make sure you don't go over those or you'll just have adhesive exposed. And you don't want that. Get on the edge. One more here. And then get our backings off and we'll put some glue along the back of this as well. Kind of like we did with one of the other pockets. Just fun little easy way to get pockets in your albums. And I hope you, and I said this earlier, I hope you've learned something today new that you haven't done. And if you already knew how to do these, oh my God, you're amazing. Because some of these I've seen before, haven't done them. Let's skip a couple of pages and we'll put this on the right hand side this time. And we'll put it at the bottom. And then you've got that super adorable little pocket. And again, we're not going behind this time, but you've got a pocket. Oh, look at that little piece of that bag needs to be glued down just so it doesn't come up like that when you put something in there. Glue that down. You can put your little tags inside. You can double them up if you want to in that top pocket. You can put them in the bottom. Obviously,